Hello students, welcome to Fun Scholar classes. First of all, a happy Diwali to all of you. I really believe that you have enjoyed very much in this festival. I also really enjoyed this festival to my heart's content. But as the Diwali has already over, so it's time for study again, right? So we were on this topic coordinate geometry, class 9 ICSE. If you remember, we have completed the basic concepts, the applications, and some portions of the Cartesian plane, right? X-axis, y-axis, okay, origin, what is the meaning of x coordinate, what is the meaning of y coordinate, right? What is abscissa, what is ordinate, okay? So we will start from that and we'll go further and further and we'll study some more things about this coordinate geometry. But this session is going to be very important for you because in this session I am going to explain the Cartesian plane, the problems regarding Cartesian plane, straight line, formula of straight line, form of straight line, how can you actually find the values of two variables using straight lines graph. We will see that in our upcoming slides. So without wasting any time, let's start our video. Let's start our lecture. We were on slide number 7. We'll start from here. See, Cartesian plane. If you remember, I have already showed you what a Cartesian plane is. You can see that in the previous lecture. This is lecture number 2, right? You can see that in lecture number 1, the number 1 has already been uploaded in the playlist. So Cartesian plane, the Cartesian plane, also called the coordinate plane. I think this slide was covered. Still, just revise it as I am reading. You also go through this slide and revise it, memorize it. Cartesian plane, also called the coordinate plane or xy plane, is a two-dimensional surface formed by two number lines that intersect at a right angle. This is a number line called y-axis. This is also a number line called x-axis. The horizontal number line is called x-axis and the vertical number line is called y-axis. X-axis and y-axis. Now origin is the point of intersection between these two number lines and the coordinate of origin is 0, 0. Okay. Coordinates. Any point on the plane is represented as an ordered pair, x, y ordered pair. X is the abscissa and y is the coordinate. Okay. Suppose this point, as you can see, is 2 units away from this origin if we consider the horizontal line, and 3 units away from the x-axis, 2 units away from the vertical line, and 3 units away from the horizontal line, right? So the coordinate of this point will be 2, 3. First always follow the x-axis, then y-axis, 2, 3. Here the 2 is the abscissa and 3 is the ordinate. Okay, and I already told you that the abscissa means the 2. Here this 2 means distance from the y-axis. Abscissa means distance from y-axis. Distance of which? Distance of that particular point from y-axis. And what is the ordinate? Ordinate, it is the distance of a particular point from from x-axis. Okay, because 3 is the distance of that particular point from this x-axis, which is nothing but 3 units. Now, the 4 quadrants. What is the meaning of quadrants? See. See. This is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. Y dash, x dash. This portion here is the first quadrant. This portion is the first quadrant. This portion is the second quadrant. This is the third and this is the fourth quadrant. First quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant. Now what is the meaning of this plus 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 minus plus minus minus plus minus? What is the meaning of these signs? Any point that lies in the first quadrant will be both positive, mean its abscissa and its ordinate both will be positive. For which point? Any point that lies on the first quadrant will be positive. Not only the abscissa but also the ordinate will be positive. That's why plus and plus have been given. Now any point that is in the second quadrant, suppose this is a point B that lies on the second quadrant. If you notice it, then you will definitely see that this point lies on the left side of this horizontal number line, and anything that is situated on the left side of 0 is considered negative. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6 and so on, right? Always take the x-axis first. That's why minus sign has been given. Why? Because this point lies on the negative x-axis. That's why this is minus. And if we consider negative of x-axis, that means it is minus. And if we consider the ordinate, then it will be plus. Anything upper side of this x-axis will be considered plus. Anything that lies below the x-axis will be considered minus or negative. That's why this is minus and plus. Suppose 3 comma 2, 1 2 3, 3 and 1 2, 3 comma 2. The point lies here. Suppose if we take an example of a point that lies on the second quadrant, -5 comma 6. So this is -5 and 1 2 3 4 5 6. -5 comma 6 will be somewhere in this position, -5 comma 6. Okay, now the third quadrant. Third quadrant, as you can see that this is -1, -2, -3, -4 and so on. Suppose -10. This is also -1, -2, -3, -4, -10. As you can see, any point that lies on the third quadrant will be both negative. The abscissa and the ordinate both will be negative. Negative, negative. Left side denotes negative, and what I have said that any point that lies below this x-axis will also be considered negative. So this point, this particular point C is obviously situated below the x-axis. That's why this particular point will also be considered negative. So the coordinate of this point will be both negative. Suppose -3 comma -2, -3 -2. something like this. And the fourth quadrant, the x coordinate will be positive, but the y coordinate as it is situated in the below of this x axis, it will be considered negative. Suppose 3 comma minus 1. So 1 2 3, this 3 and this minus 1, this point will be situated on this point will be placed in rough and tough disposition, इस position में होगा. Next, this is basic and you have already covered it in your lower classes. Okay, now quickly revise this. First quadrant, both will be positive, 3 comma 2. Second quadrant, x will be negative and y coordinate will be positive, minus 4 comma 5. Random example. Okay, third quadrant, x will be negative, y will also be negative, minus 2 comma minus 7. Fourth quadrant, x will be positive but y will be negative, 6 comma minus 3. Now example of plotting a point. This is also very easy and very clear. You also covered this in your lower classes. Still I am repeating this for you. Suppose you need to plot 4 comma minus 2. 4 comma minus 2. Not 4 comma, अच्छा चलो 4 comma minus 2. 4, that means 1 2 3 4. This is positive, right? So you need to go to the right side of this x-axis. And minus 2, as this is minus, you need to go 2 units downward from this 4. This point will be 4 comma minus. Now what if I say to plot minus 4 comma 2? As the x coordinate is negative, then you must go to the left side. Minus 4, this is the minus 4, and 2 is positive, that means go to the upward direction. 1 2, 4 comma minus 4 comma 2. This is minus 4 comma 2 and this is 4 comma minus 2. Suppose plot minus 6 comma minus 6. 6 5 there. Plot minus 4 comma minus 5. Then this is minus 4 and minus 5. Minus means downward. This is minus 5, minus 4 and this is minus 5. This is the coordinate minus 4 comma minus 5. Okay, if I tell you to plot 1 comma 1, then 1 comma 1. If I tell you to plot 1 comma minus 3, 1 comma minus 3, 1 comma 1. Now minus 6 comma 5, minus 6 comma 5. Minus 5, this is minus 6 comma 5. See, this 5 is positive, that means go to the upward direction. Minus means left side, next one is positive, that means upper side. This point is minus 6 comma 5. Okay, I hope you have understood what I have said. Now let's quickly see the uses of Cartesian plane. First of all, plotting graphs of algebraic equation that we will see in our upcoming slides. Geometry and trigonometry applications. Motion and vectors. You also have studied motion and vectors. The 3 laws of Newton related to motion, they are graphs. Yes. Computer graphics and animations, engineering and architectural designs. Suppose the blueprint of a particular architecture or a blueprint of a construction that is going to be built. In that blueprint you can definitely see the graphs. Okay, and with the help of these graphs, the architects or the engineers, they decide the measurements. Suppose to build a dining space of 12 foot by 10 foot, or to build a bathroom, or to build a bedroom, balcony, etc. The whole measurements are taken as graphs by using these graphs. Okay, so these are the application why we are reading this Cartesian plane, why we are studying this Cartesian plane. Okay, now let's move to the next slide. How to read coordinates. First read the x-axis, then y-axis. Suppose, how will you read this coordinate 2 comma minus 3? Simple. First the abscissa, then comes the ordinate 2 comma minus 3. Now I want you to just read from here to here. Suppose 3 comma 2. As you can see, both are positive. The abscissa and the ordinate both are positive, and both are positive means the point will lie on quadrant 1 or the first quadrant. 3 units right and 2 units up. Minus 4 comma 5. The abscissa is negative but the ordinate is plus, so it will definitely lie on the second quadrant. 4 units left, as minus sign has been given, 4 units left and 5 units up. Minus 2 comma minus 6, both the abscissa and the ordinate are negative. That means this is in the third quadrant. 2 units left, then 6 units down. 2 units left, then 6 units down. 4 comma minus 2, this is plus, the abscissa is positive and the ordinate is negative. 4 units right, 2 units down. 4 units right, 2 units down, and you will find the fourth quadrant. 0 comma 0, this is the origin, right? Yes, this is the origin, center of the coordinate system, or the point of intersection of x-axis and y-axis. 0 comma 5, 0 comma 5. Now this is an interesting case. See, 0 means we don't need to move right, left or right. 0 means we will stick to this origin, and then 5 means plus, this is positive. Positive means we will go to the upward direction. 0 comma 5. Suppose this is 0, this is 1 2 3 4 5, this is 5. So 0 comma 5, this particular point will lie on the y-axis. So just note a point. Point that lies on y-axis contains x coordinate as 0. As you can clearly see, if this particular point lies on the y-axis, then its abscissa or the x coordinate will be 0. Suppose 1, 2, 3. Suppose I am giving you to plot this point 0, 3 on the Cartesian plane. How will you going to plot this point? 0 means not to going to the right, not to going to the left. 0 means we will stick to the origin, and as it is 3, then we will move upward 3 units. If it was -3, then we will downshift this point as -1, -2, -3. This will be our point 0, -3. But no matter 0, 3 or 0, -3, because the y coordinate, it does not matter if the y coordinate is in positive or it is in negative. If the abscissa or the x coordinate is 0, then the particular point will definitely lie on y-axis, or in case of y-axis, a particular point that lies on y-axis contains x coordinate as 0. Okay, now suppose I am giving you to plot 3, 0. Then what will be your response? You will say that 3, 1, 2, 3, this is 3, and 0. 0 means we will not go upside or will not go downside. We will stick to this particular point. So 0, 3, 1, 2, 3, 0, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 3, 0. If this point is 3, 0. What if I tell you to plot -6, 0? Then -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. This is -6 and 0. 0 means not to go to the upward direction and not to go to the downward direction. We'll stick to this particular number line. This is -6, 0. So here is also a point that I want you to note, that point that lies on x-axis. Point that lies on x-axis contains y-coordinate as 0. A point that lies on y-axis contains x-coordinate as 0, and a particular point that lies on x-axis contains y-coordinate as 0. X coordinate is 0, that means this lies on y-axis. Y coordinate is 0, means this lies on x-axis. If the y coordinate is 0, the point will be lie on the y coordinate is 0, the point will be lie on the x-axis, and if the x coordinate is 0, the point will lie on the y-axis. Y0, then x-axis. X is 0, then y-axis. X is 0, then y-axis. Y is 0, then x-axis. Okay? Very good. We have mentioned this. This has already been covered. Still, first quadrant means both are positive, 3, 4, right of y-axis above x-axis. Second quadrant, x coordinate is negative, y coordinate is positive. -2, 5. -2 means left of x-axis. Left of y-axis and above x-axis. Third quadrant, both are negative, -4, -1. a random example. That means left side of y-axis, downward direction of x-axis. Left side of y-axis and below x-axis. Left side of y below x. Left side of y below x. Fourth quadrant, the x coordinate will be positive and y coordinate will be negative. Suppose 6 comma minus 3. 6 comma minus 3 means right side of y-axis and below the x-axis. Right side of the y-axis and below x-axis. Okay. Now I think this is crystal clear. Right of y-axis means the x coordinate will be positive. Left of y-axis, suppose this is y-axis. Right of y-axis, sign of x will be positive. Left of y-axis, sign of x will be negative. Similarly, above x-axis, y coordinate will be positive and below x-axis y coordinate will be negative. First quadrant both will be positive. For second quadrant the abscissa will be negative and ordinate will be positive. For third quadrant abscissa and ordinate both will be negative, and for the fourth quadrant abscissa will be positive but the ordinate will be negative. These are some examples how different points have been plotted on a Cartesian plane. You can also plot this by using a graph. Just go to the store and ask the shopkeeper to give you graph. You can take millimeter division or inch division, okay, as instructed by your teacher in your school. Now some points are here to remember. The coordinate of the origin is 0, 0. You will say that okay, I know. For a point on x-axis, its ordinate is always 0. Ordinate means the y quadrant. Y coordinate. Ordinate means the y coordinate. That I have already mentioned in the previous slides, that for a point that lies on x-axis, its y coordinate will be 0. Okay. 7, 0, 3, 0, 0, 0. And for a point that lies on the y-axis, you will say that yes sir, we know the abscissa is going to be 0. Abscissa means the x coordinate. The x coordinate is 0. For which point? For any point that lies on the y-axis. See, all the abscissa or all the x coordinates are 0. No matter the ordinate is positive or negative, it will definitely lie on the y-axis. Clear? Find the coordinates of the point whose abscissa is the solution of the first equation and the ordinate is the solution of the second equation. 0.5 x minus 3 equal to c. Two equations have been given here. You need to just solve these two equations. By solving, you will find the value of x as 4 and you will find the value of y as 2. Okay. Now, this solving method is very easy, that you have already covered in your previous topics or previous units. I am not going to describe this as these are very easy. Just go through this and we'll move to the next slide. Just from this equation find the value of x, and from this equation find the value of y. Then the abscissa will be x and the ordinate will be y. The value of x is 4 and the value of y is 2. As we always write the abscissa first, means the point will be 4 comma 2. 4 comma 2. Now graph of x. Graph of x. Acha, graph of x equal to 0. See, take this point. What is the coordinate of this point? You will see that 0 comma 0, sir. I will say yes, very good. As you can see here, the x is 0. Now if I ask you what is the coordinate of this point, you will say that 1 comma 0. I will say no, sir, it is wrong. This is 0 comma 1. This is 1 comma 0. But this is 0 comma 1. 0 comma 1. This is 0 comma 2. This is 0 comma minus 2. This is 0 comma minus 5. This is 0 comma minus 3. For all these examples, you can definitely notice that the abscissa is 0. And I have already mentioned that if the abscissa of a particular point is 0, then the point lies on the y-axis. So x equal to 0 for all this point, the x is 0. The x coordinate is 0. Take any point on the y-axis, any point, 6, this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take this point 10, 0 comma 10. Take this point 0 comma minus 6. Take any point that lies on the y-axis. You will find that the abscissa is 0. So can I tell that if the abscissa is 0, then the point will lie on the y-axis, and hence we can conclude that x equal to 0 is the representation of y-axis. X equal to 0 simply means the y-axis, because for every point that lies on the y-axis contains the x coordinate as 0. Understood? Hence we conclude that the formula of y-axis will be x equal to 0, or we can simply represent the y-axis by this equation x equal to 0. Similarly, if I tell you to tell me the coordinate of this point, you will say that 1 comma 0. Okay, this point 3 comma 0. This point minus 3 comma 0. This point minus 5 comma 0, etc. Right. Now see, for any point that lies on the x-axis contains the 0 ordinate. Hence, we can definitely represent the x-axis that has been mentioned in the second slide. From this, we can conclude that every point that lies on the x-axis contains the 0 ordinate. Hence, we can write the formula of x-axis, or the representation of x-axis, as y equal to 0. X-axis representation is y equal to 0, and the representation of y-axis is x equal to 0. Okay, I think this is understandable. Nice. Note this is very important. Graph of y equal to 0, as you can see, every point that lies on the x axis has y coordinate as 0. That means If we need to express this x-axis, then we simply express by the equation x equal to 0. X equal to y equal to 0. Y equal to 0 means the x-axis. X equal to 0 means the y-axis. Y equal to 0 means the x-axis. X equal to 0 means the y-axis. Here this y means the y coordinate. Ordered pair, we have learned ordered pair, right? X comma y. Here this y means this y coordinate. If the y coordinate is 0, then the point will be lied on x-axis, and if the x coordinate is 0, then this will be the representation of y-axis. Just go through this slide. Okay. Draw the graph of each of the following. This will be your homework. You need to draw the graph of the following expressions: y equal to 3, x plus y plus 5 equal to 0, x equal to 4, and x plus 6 equal to 0. Y equal to 3, y equal to 3. Y equal to 3 means 1, 2, 3, this 3, and just draw a straight line, y equal to 3. Because take any point in this straight line, you will find a y 3 units away from the x-axis. Okay, x plus 5 equal to 0, y plus 5 equal to 0, that means y is minus 5, y will be minus 5, then minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, just draw a straight line. X equal to 4, x equal to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, just draw a straight line. This straight line will be x equal to 4, this straight line will be y equal to minus 5, x plus 6 equal to 0, x will be minus 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, minus 6, minus, that's why we have taken the point on the left side of y-axis. This straight line will be x equal to minus 6. Okay. Now draw a graph of y equal to 2x. This thing will be covered in the next lecture. Okay. Today we just read the representation of points, okay, the formulas of the quadrants and the representation of x-axis and y-axis, and how a particular point will be plotted on a Cartesian plate. The third lecture will be very crucial because we will study or we will learn how to plot some expressions or how to represent this algebraic expression graphically. Okay, we will draw the graph of this particular algebraic expression and many more. Some tough algebraic expressions are also here. Suppose y equal to 3x minus 4. See, these are expressions with double variable. This is also double variable. Okay, how to draw the graph of these particular expressions, we will learn that in our next lecture. Okay, so no more today, no more today. Your tasks will be to complete these 4 questions in your notebook. From next class we will start from slide number 21. Okay, till then keep shining and keep learning. Bye.